Hey guys, this is Nick from th8 Gone, and we are going to do a 3-star conversion tonight. This one is going to be on one of their harder players, 13 Droll. And really, this base was possible to take out with dragons, and I think that would be the preferred attack method to do this base. So let's just take a look at base layout. So we've got a bunch of compressed anti-air in the middle. You know for sure there's a Tesla there, and if he's any kind of smart, he'll have Teslas outside, which is what he does. So questions. Is it hoggable? Technically, there aren't any spaces for giant bombs between these attack structures, but there might be giant bombs in the middle that we don't know about, that we can't predict. There's no way to predict it. And probably more dangerous on this base, he could have just put spring traps between every single defense, and then we would lose, 3 hog riders each time. We'd end up losing maybe 20 hog riders, so I wouldn't hog this base. You could go wipe it, but go wiping is a little difficult, as one of our players experienced, because you can break this open, but there's no real incentive for golems to go inside here, or P.E.K.K.A for that matter. They end up just kind of following the buildings around the outside, and they have no incentive to penetrate to the middle here unless you have already destroyed all of these easier to get to buildings, which is really hard to do. So go wipe is possible, probably better than hog, but still difficult. It's meant as an anti-dragon base, but really the way it's set up, it would be pretty easy to funnel a bunch of dragons into the middle. So that's what Astan and Outlaw decided to do. Astan's technique is not that great. He drops the Barbarian King for no apparent reason other than to lose his cleanup crew. He drops some dragons for no apparent reason. I'm not quite sure what those are supposed to do. He drops loons before the dragon, and then he rages them out so that they're even further away from the dragon. Notice that they're not actually raged over any defensive buildings that they're trying to take out. And his dragons are going directly into the air sweeper. So any dragons that make it over here are going to get buffeted by the air sweeper. And, a couple try to go in, but they're busy taking out that Clan Castle Dragon, who acts as basically another high hit point building for them to get through over here in the corner. And he doesn't end up doing anything of significance in terms of damaging this base. So the dragons go around the outside. We know exactly what's going to happen there. 1 star. Next up is Outlaw. Outlaw does a bit better job. Instead of just bunching up on the upper corners, he tries to broadside it, which is the correct technique when attacking this particular kind of base. Let's see if we can find it. Okay. So let's make a note on attacking corners on these bases. So when you're attacking some bases, broadsiding is a bad idea. So let's say that there was, let's say that this was a completely different base. So, just ignore all of these buildings here in the middle. Let's say that there was an AD here, buried pretty deep. Maybe there's an AD that's easy to get to on the back side. Let's see. So in our pretend world, we've got an AD buried deep, an AD that's easily snipeable behind, let's put an AD right behind this wizard tower so that balloons could easily snipe to it. And let's just say there's one that's buried deep in here. So in that case, you would want to bunch your dragons up, because you could take a lightning, take out the buried one. You could bunch up all of your dragons to try to get them to penetrate to that one guy, and depending on how deep it is, you might end up with a balloon pathing. You might drop a couple loons in behind him, and then you could drop loons on the backside. So in that case, I can see you wanting to bunch up your dragons. But we're dealing with this kind of base. at where the buildings are for the dragon to follow. They go around this way. So if you're attacking from the corner, your dragons are going to go around the outside. They're not going to penetrate to the middle. So corner is a really bad idea on this base. It's actually one of the reasons I designed my base the way it is, so that people attack on the corner and get messed up. Broadside it. Broadside this son of a bitch. That's the only way I get 3-starred by dragons. It's the only way you're going to 3-star this guy. That way you can get rid of these crash buildings, and then your other dragons will have nowhere to go but into the core where they'll do damage. So, back to the play at hand. Outlaw does broadside, which is good. He ends up coming from the northwest, which is a bad mistake because of this air sweeper. It didn't really factor much into Azdan's attack, but it's facing this way, which means that when his dragons do get into the middle, they're going to be fighting that air sweeper. Remember, they've got that dragon in the clan castle who pretty much acts like a high hit point defensive building for them to go through. So they have a high hit point defensive building that's attacking them, the dragon. They've got all of these ADs attacking, and they've got Teslas, the whole 9 yards. So Outlaw chooses to use loons. I think this was a poor decision. Why? Let's look. He drops 2 rages, which is awesome, and rages are necessary to get rid of all of these guys in the middle. But he doesn't use the rages to destroy any buildings. He basically uses the rages as a haste to speed up his loons going from the outside to the inside. Now, if there was some defensive building here that the loons could still get to while they were under rage, then I can see dropping a rage spell. But as is, that was a poor decision. His rage would have been better used in the middle, where the drags and everything else could use it. So instead of doing 10 dragons, 5 loons, I would have done 11 dragons straight up. So let's see, his loons go in. They do better than Azdan's loons simply because he's got some dragons that are helping to defend, but that air sweeper is just going to absolutely wreck him. So he does end up having about the kind of split I would have wanted. He's got 2 dragons going around the outside here. He's got 3 dragons going around the outside here. So in my ideal situation, there would be 2 dragons going down each side. But instead of having 5 dragons go in the middle, I would have had 6 of my own plus the CC dragon. So again, he's not able to finish it out because of that nasty air sweeper and CC dragon combined with all these damage dealing units are building. So yeah, he destroys everything on the outside, and then his dragons are toast. So how would I have attacked this to turn it into a 3-star? Because dragon definitely is the way to go with this base, I think. So remember, we're taking 11 dragons here, and I would do 3 rage. So we're going to broadside it. I would want to do maybe a little more funneling than Outlaw did, just because I'm not as good as he is as getting the broadside dragons to go exactly where I want them to. So I'd go to there, and I would wait until those dragons had started attacking this second row of defenses here before putting in my main force. They'll follow these breadcrumb buildings. They'll go forward to these buildings. By that point, the clan castle dragon will come out, and so I would want to drop my first rage. Rage is going to be in blue today, to help them get rid of the clan castle and to help them get to the middle. Note that the air defenses don't really cover this portion very well. They do cover that empty space, so we can rage the dragon through this part. But as far as down here goes, not really that covered. So first rage would go towards, you know what, that ring is annoying me. First rage goes towards taking out the CC Castle, getting to the middle. Then I would just dump the other 2 rages right here, one on top of the other. The effects would add up, and you would have dragons doing, let's see, if we're just spitballing, 240, 280, 400 to 500 damage per second per dragon, if they're under 2 rages. So that would help them to get through these high hit point buildings really, really fast. They wouldn't be fighting that air sweeper, so that their attack speed wouldn't be, cut in half. And then that would hopefully give them enough damage to take out all these guys before their health ran out. So, any base that has the 666, level 6 ADs, all of them, is going to be a lot harder to dragon. But this is certainly a base that I think is doable. So anyway, nice job, Outlaw. Crappy job, Asdan. Stay real, guys. I'll talk to you later.